years of International Labour Organization, which started in the year of 1919. Because on this day, the arrival milestone on workers' rights, 100 years of the International Labour Organization, which the ILO was found 100 years ago after the conflict of World War I. That ended on November 11th, 1918. It was part of the Treaty of Versailles to create objective based on the foundation of social justice in order to create universal standards for fair and reasonable working conditions for all employees around the world in 1919. The book on the title Arrival Milestone on Workers' Rights, 100 Years of International Labour Organization mentioned beginning story on tripartitism and social dialogue, workers' rights with labour standard, fairness and social justice, workers must be treated fairly in employment, plus workers are entitled to social protection in the first 5 areas of the 5 chapters. The second section of 5 chapters cover the areas of workers' rights must be protected at work. Workers must be entitled to fairer condition of employment, growth of sustainable enterprises, the future structure of work, and promoting the case for social justice. Other areas cover the 8 fundamental conventions, such as freedom of association as of rights, organized convention 1948, number 87, right to organize and collective bargaining convention 1949, number 98, forced labor convention 1930, number 29, and a 2014 protocol abolition of forced labor convention 1957, 105. It includes minimum age convention 1973, number 138, worst form of child labor convention 1999, number 182, equal remuneration convention 1951, number 100, and discrimination such as employment and occupation convention 1958, number 111. The International Labour Standard further aim at promoting opportunity for women and men that include social justice by helping to obtain decent and productive work in condition of protecting workers' rights with labour standards along with security and dignity. My name's Aaron Baptiste. I'm a very experienced and accomplished actor with over 15 years experience and also a member of Back2 and Equity, because I've been involved writing this titled book since 2015. And also, I'm also a former anti-apartheid activist. I've got a background of knowledge of studying international law during my semester abroad at the University of Cape Town in South Africa during 1997-98 academic year. Also graduated from Middlesex University in the year of 2000. The year of 2019 also marked the centenary year on the International Labour Organization, ILO, was founded 100 years ago, after the First World War was ended. Because the early 20th century saw a scale of industrialization across many countries with the impact of factory child labor that include huge increases on workplace accident and death. Because the Treaty of Versailles in 1919 dictate that workers should be entitled to a fairer pay and condition that would be promoted by the International Labour Organization legislation as well through trade union rights by setting the stage for the ILO. It was now 100 years later in 2019. The ILO is still pursuing fair treatment of work, social justice, plus the continued support of human rights and workers' rights for all employees. Marking the centenary year in 2019, The ILO work is very important by linking cooperation between government and employers plus workers' organization by fostering social and economic progress. The International Labour Organization was formed in 1919, which was 100 years ago, aimed to ensure that it serves the need of working women and men by bringing together government, employers, and workers by setting up labour standard, develop policy, devise program, the foundation structure on the International Labour Organization, where workers and employers get together to have an equal voice with governments in deliberation, show social dialogue in action. It further ensures that the views of social partners are closely reflected in International Labour Organization in labour standard, policies and program. The ILO encourage this tripartism with employers, workers, and member states by promoting a social dialogue between trade union and employers in formulating and where appropriating national policy on social, economic, and many other issues relating to workers' rights. Governing body and the International Labour Office, which is aided by tripartite committee history. It is also supported by committee of experts on such matters as vocal training, management development, and occupation safety and health, industrial relation, workers' education, and special problem of women and young workers. International labour standards are backed by a supervisory system. This is unique at the international level that help to ensure the country that implement the ILO convention they ratify. The International Labour Organization regularly examines the application of standards in member states and point out areas where they could be better applied. The ILO has developed various means of supervising the application of convention and recommendation in law and practice following their adoption by the International Labour Conference and the ratification by states. The regular system of supervision related to the examination of periodic report submitted by member states on the measures they have taken to implement the provision of the ratified convention. Special procedures further related to representation, procedure, and a complaint procedure of general application, together with a special procedure for freedom of association. There has been development cooperation that built bridges between the ILO standards, setting role related on women and men worldwide. It is important to give people decent work opportunities and an important mean by making decent work gender a truthful reality. Simply put, development cooperation further support the technical, organizational, and institution capability of the ILO constituency for them to put in place meaningful and coherent social policy with sustainable development. It was exactly 100 years ago, since 1919, the International Labour Organization has maintained workers' rights with labour standard linked to a system of international labour standard based on the 8 fundamental conventions, such as freedom of association and protection of the right to organize convention 1948, number 87, right to organize and collective bargaining convention 1949, number 98, forced labor convention 1930, number 29, and its 2014 protocol Abolition of Forced Labor Convention 1957, 105. It includes Minimum Age Convention 1973, number 138, Worst Formal Child Labor Convention 1999, number 182, Equal Remuneration Convention 1951, 100, and Discrimination Such as Employment and Occupation Convention 1958, number 111. The International Labour Standard further aim at promoting opportunity for women and men by helping them to obtain proper decent work in conditions protecting workers' rights that include maternity leave and with dignity. because on this day, October the 29th, it will be 100 years ago since the ILO was formed by 44 countries. Because in addition, this organization may comment on the government report or send comment direct to the ILO on the application of convention. The Committee of Experts was set up 93 years ago to manage the growing number of government report on ratified convention since 1926. It was 100 years later, in 2019. It composed of 20 eminent jurists by the governing body for 3 years term. The experts come from different geographical region, legal system and cultures. The role on the Committee of Experts is to provide an impartial and technical evaluation of the application on international labor standard on its workers' rights in ILO member states. It was 55 years ago. The Committee of Experts has kept track on the number of cases in progress, which has noted changes in law and practice that has improved since the application of a ratified convention since the year of 1964. The committee expressed satisfaction in cases after following the comments it has made on specific issues. Government has taken measures through adoption of a new legislation and an amendment to the existing legislation or a significant change in the national policy or practice. This first achieving full compliance with the obligation being committed to workers' rights under the respective convention. Furthermore, the Committee of Experts each year examines whether member states have been committed to the obligation of labor standard by submitting the instrument adopted to the legislative bodies for consideration. Even a country decides not to ratify a convention, it may choose to bring its legislation into conformity with it. Member states regularly review committee comments on the application of the convention in other countries, may amend their own law and practice so they can avoid similar problems in the application of good labor standards as a form of social dialogue by implementing the process of workers' rights in the first place.